Okay. My name is Dr. Oscar Hernandez. I'm a board-certified internist, board-certified pediatrician, and I've passed the certifying examination of the American Board of Bariatric Medicine. Basically, I'm a medical bariatrician. I do medical weight loss programs. I work with a company called Florida Bariatrics and Nutrition. If you need to reach us, we'll have a number for you at the end of our talk today. What I want to talk about briefly is the program that we described for many of our patients who come to us because they need to lose generally more than 20 pounds. Patients who need to lose less than 20 to 25 pounds, we often prescribe a different program, and some of them can do it on their own. They don't need a medical bariatrician, but if you need us, we're here to help you. So the first thing we do in our weight loss program is we measure total daily energy expenditure using something called the Benedict-Harris equation. And we have a computerized version of this equation. It's a validated method of determining how many calories a day you are actually burning. So we want to know what you need, or it's an estimate of that. We want to know what you need to stay alive. And then based on that, we determine a deficiency. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment, but that's one of the first steps that we do. And of course, we determine if you truly do need medical weight loss, and we generally can tell that by looking at you. But one of the things that we do use is percent body fat. If you're more than 30% body fat as a female or more than 28% body fat as a male, we're very interested in getting you to lose weight. The best way of determining body fat is using a densitometry machine with special software. This is now the gold standard for determining body fat. In the old days, we'd have to dunk you in a tank and determine your body density and make some calculations. We also used to use calipers to measure body fat, and measurements would be taken at the triceps, around the back, around the belly, but that's not a very accurate way of doing it. Densitometry is really the gold standard. Densitometry machines have special programs and softwares, not all centers have them, that determine not only your external fat, but your VAT, V-A-T, which is visceral adipose tissue. Some people are thin, but metabolically behave like they are overweight. Some people look thin on the outside, but their percent body fat, as we calculated on our machines, is high, and that may be because they have VAT, visceral adipose tissue. But we calculate your percent body fat to know if you qualify for medical weight loss. We, of course, check your weight. And weight alone, it does not mean that you're fat. Some people might be very, very heavy, but have a very low body fat percent. You might be a bodybuilder. You might be a professional athlete. Well, those people generally don't come in to see me, but that's an example of people who may be high weight, low body fat, and I don't want to run into them if I'm in a dark alley because they'll beat me up. So that's very different than most of the fat people I see. They're just paunchy and they're overweight. Fat is not all fat is the same. Sometimes we see people, especially women, who are shaped like a pear. This is their head, this is their butt, these are their legs. These women are not at as much risk for heart disease and obesity-related illnesses as are people who on profile kind of look like this. They got a big belly that almost matches their butt, or is sometimes bigger than their butt. So that's a different type of obesity. The most risky type for heart disease and obesity-related illness is people who have a big belly. Men wear this across their belly all the time. So not all obesity is the same. But we certainly check your weight, we check your body fat, we check your total daily energy expenditure. We make sure that you are qualified for medical treatment of obesity. Medical treatment of obesity often includes medications. We certainly get your history because not everybody should have the same weight loss medicines if we use weight loss medicines. We do some psychiatric evaluations because behavior modification is very important in terms of weight loss. So if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you have a psychiatric eating disorder, we want to know about that. Most people don't have psychiatric eating disorders, but some do, and they don't even know it because they don't think that they have any psychiatric problems except just the wear and tear of life, when in fact there's something a little bigger behind their obesity, and so we want to deal with those things. We certainly do questionnaires for obstructive sleep apnea, which is very, very common in overweight people and causes hormonal and metabolic problems that drive some of the eating issues and the obesity issues. people, by the way, who have stress and anxiety issues, which is a lot of folks in our community, they sometimes eat because they think that they feel bad because they haven't had something to eat, or they find some comfort and relief of their anxiety in food because certain foods, especially carbohydrate, bind areas of the pontine nucleus in the brain that have, in the pro-opiomelanocortin pathway, that have receptors to carbohydrates, and it makes them feel good. It almost gives them an opium high. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's part of the evaluation that we do. So these are some of the metrics that we use, some of the measurements that we use. And one of the most important ones, of course, is determining how much food you need to stay alive. Not to get fat, not to stay fat, but to stay alive. We don't want to kill you. We're not in the business of killing you. So, once we know your total daily energy expenditure, we calculate a deficit diet. In other words, we don't give you what you need. You have two options. A, you die, but that doesn't happen. Or B, your body says, hey, we're not getting all the calories that we need to stay alive. We got to get them somewhere else. Where do we go? We go to the warehouse. Not the men's warehouse, but the warehouse that's here. And the body then takes energy out of our body stores to make up for what we're not giving you. Now, we don't want you to have such a deficit that you are burning protein. In aggressive weight loss programs like the ones we use, we often do see people who lose a little bit of body mass from protein loss. It is an unfortunate truth. We wish it weren't so, but we don't want to lose protein. We don't want to lose muscle mass. We want to lose fat, because that's the killer. So what we want, every time you come, we are not only weighing you to make sure you're losing weight, we're repeating the body fat percent. We want to make sure that the weight you're losing is consistent with a drop in body fat. If you're losing weight, but your body fat isn't going down, then our composition of meals and our protein that you're getting is obviously not right, and you need a little bit more protein in your diet. We don't want to see that sort of thing. In its extreme, if you truly have severe protein malnutrition, you wind up having severe heart problems. And we don't ever see that in our office, but that's because we know what we're doing. And our patients follow our directions, which is very important. So we calculate your TDEE, we produce a deficiency diet, and then we can figure out how many pounds you're going to lose a week. Let's give an example. Suppose your total daily energy expenditure is 2,000 calories a day. This is what you need to stay alive. Suppose then that I give you 800 calories or 1,000 calories for ease of calculation, and I give you an exact amount of food you're supposed to eat. I'll say, Jody, you're going to have 2 slices of bacon and an egg for breakfast. You're going to have 4 ounces of chicken with 3 ounces of vegetable for lunch, and you're going to have whatever other measurement of protein, carbohydrate, and fat I give you for dinner. And we do this. It's all written out in very simple directions. Our eating programs are very simple. They're generally 1 page long. I don't believe in 2,000 pages of exchanges. You won't know what to do. So we don't do exchange diets generally. We simply ask you to weigh your food. If for some reason you can't weigh your food, you're on the go, you're very busy, we have pre-packed meals, and you can buy 800 to 1,000 calories of food in our office for about $10 a day. So that's very cheap. We don't make real money on food. We just do that as a service to our patients. And it's all very healthy stuff. And you can look at some of our menus by going to healthwise.nre.com. And this is a national supplier of pre-packed food, and this is the company we use because we think they're basically the best.